This meeting was called tonight to try to iron out some of the questions that the city councils had concerning the contract with the county with Bible Link. And I'm gonna let the president of the EMT board start it off.
My name is Mark Harrington. I'm president of the Israel County EMS board, and we were established to help the judge make decisions about the ambulance service that we have in Israel County. I don't know exactly when we were established, somewhere around 1980, I think maybe. But since we've been here, we've had a couple of things come on. We've had to raise the price of the service to have the people here. We've had to raise the price. That's what the $50 is for. And we've had some other issues with less than considerable service, less than desirable service in this county. Back at the end of this year, Wayne Lee, the members, and Vincie Ballman and members of the EMS board put together a package that decided what we wanted for Israel County. A very extensive list of things that needed to be provided to this county. We had 2 applicants. Vital Link was one of them.
I'm gonna open it up to the city council for any questions y'all would like to ask or comments you'd like to make. Yes, ma'am.
Doesn't Vital Link have a station in Horseshoe Bend?
Yes, we do.
And they have one in Melbourne?
Yes, sir.
They have one in Calico Rock and Pineville?
Not at this particular time.
Not yet.
They're still looking for a spot to put one.
Okay, so how long is that gonna take? Are we just gonna have to, our citizens are gonna have to wait 30, 40 minutes because they can't find a place over there to sleep?
I think they're looking pretty diligently for a spot right now, right? Would you like to make a comment on that?
We've looked at numerous locations. We have to find a place that's has some living quarters. They don't have to be big or elaborate, but they have to be clean and safe and that we can afford. And we'd like to have a garage for our ambulances as well, but that's not even necessary. That's something that could be added. We've looked at several that had safety issues, which would not allow us to use the various options that we've looked at. Safety has to come first, because you've got emergency responders. You don't want them running up and down stairs or slipping and falling and that sort of thing. But we have looked at 2 really good options in the last couple weeks, and we have a board meeting Tuesday night, and we will be discussing that with our board of directors.
My firefighters, my fire department, has expressed concerns on more than one occasion about the length of calls. We understand that we're on the far side of the county and it's going to take a little bit longer to get to us. And let me say this, I'm very much aware of Vital Link's reputation. They do have a good reputation. They have good employees, and I know that they do the absolute best they can living in the rural area where we live. The problem seems to have arisen when a young man who's a resident of this county offered his services for his ambulance. It's a basic life support. When Vital Link is tied up and can't answer the calls. When we do have 37-minute run times. When we do have a citizen on the side of the road on the backboard and we're looking at 30 minutes yet before Vital Link can get there. And it's through no fault of theirs. It's because they've been on a call, they've been busy. It's just the logistics of the thing. I don't know of a county that has a law that says only one ambulance company can operate in this county. You have an agreement with Vital Link, I understand that. But you can't pass a law that says no other ambulance company can come in here and operate. that violates every fair trade law in this United States of America. I think all Calico Rock is doing, and I know all Pineville's doing, is trying to give our residents the best service we can possibly give them. And if it means letting another small ambulance company come in here to take calls that's not taking anything away from Vitally, we have the right to do that. If I'm not critically injured, if I'm alert, and I would prefer Ozark EMS to come transport me rather than Vitally. I may be stupid because I may need advanced life support and not know it, but I think as an American citizen I have that right.
You do if you don't dial 911 in Izard County. If you dial 911 in Izard County, our contract it's not an agreement, it's a contract with Vitally. Now,
if my fire chief is at the scene of an accident on 177 and you're laying there and you've been hurt and you say, Chief Stephen, I want to go to the hospital by Ozark EMS, and my fire chief is supposed to do what at that point?
is your fire chief a professional?
He most certainly is one of the finest professionals in this county.
And I believe that. Then he has a responsibility to follow protocol, as all professionals do. Would protocol be to call the nearest ambulance or follow protocol?
If that person is hurt and the nearest the contract ambulance is 40 minutes or 35 minutes away, and Ozark EMS is 10 minutes away.
If you're that critical, do you want a basic unit or do you want an advanced life support?
I want to get to a hospital where professionals can take care of me.
We have a system set up in Izard County, a very good system. We have first responders who are on the scene first.
I am one.
Okay, so you understand, you have your job. You're there to prepare and help that patient to live. The next people on the scene, I don't know who they would be. Probably be the ambulance. But the thing of it is, you're going to do all you can do, correct?
That's right.
Okay. The way the legal counsel in Arkansas has described to the judge, Mr. Wayne Lee, and myself in a phone call is that if you have a BLS truck, you're basically just a first responder with a vehicle. So why would you call an ambulance if you're going to do that instead of just getting in the truck? Would that be protocol?
It would not be protocol. It would, however, save a life.
Maybe.
The question at this point that we have, we're obligated and want to serve every citizen every time they're in need in Izard County. That's what we're here for. We would have made an application with those exceptionally high standards. Did we not think that we could fulfill them, and did not we think we want to serve everybody in Izard County? Well, we want to do every emergency. There's really not enough work in a rural community for multiple day-to-day, head-to-head competition. So the question we have now is, we have been searching for a location on the western end of the county, Calico, Pineville area. Should Vitally expend resources and come there, or am I hearing that your interest is not in getting Vitally there, but in supporting another activity? That's the question I guess we have for the city council and the mayors involved. We want to serve everybody. That contract word's a pretty big one, but we're under contract to serve everybody and take every emergency call. So,
They asked me to come serve on the board just because of my knowledge. This story kind of goes to the ALS truck in the driveway. When I was working on the ambulance, I took a call, and it was in Floral, and that thing's about as far as you can go in the county from where I was sitting. And I had first responders hollering at me on the radio. They're saying, he's not going to make it, he's not going to make it, he's quitting breathing. And it took us a long time to get there. It took us a while to get there. And I got up there and I assessed the situation. And there was only one thing that I could do to help that guy. And that was, he had fallen off a gymnasium. And I don't know, it was what, 20, 25 foot? And he had busted some ribs, and they went through into where his lung was. And he was swelling so big because every breath he took went in his lung and then went into his body cavity. And he was just about quit breathing when I got there. There was only one thing I could do to save his life, and that was do a needle puncture in the side of his rib cage to let all that air out. A BLS truck could have been sitting there, and maybe or maybe not, but I feel like that guy probably would have died before he got to the hospital. But because we were able to perform that service, because of our equipment and because of our training, even though it was 30 minutes out in the county, that guy's still walking around today. And he's told me thank you many times over the last 10 years. And that's the difference in the BLS and the ALS.
Transfers, because wasn't really worried about the emergency part of it. So we put in a transfer truck, and I get a phone call from Larry New. He says, hey, somebody's called, and you can't be just a transfer truck, you got to be an emergency truck also. Okay, so I am a BLS emergency ambulance, according to the state of Arkansas. It's got everything on it that emergency ambulance is supposed to have for BLS. It is staffed 24 hours a day. We do have a base set up in Calico, because we kept hearing this, we don't know when we're coming. I understand cost. It's taken everything that I had. When I left the hospital, I pulled my retirement out, and I've sunk into this ambulance. If you couldn't afford to put a third truck in, and you were working over here, the people that I've talked to, even both city councils, it's been thrown around all night about a good ambulance, a bad ambulance. You know, I don't know what she means by good ambulance or an excellent ambulance, but they're both BLS level or an ALS level. Chris had a good point about putting the needle decompression in. Unfortunately, Floral does not have a hospital that is a few miles away. No, I cannot do a chest tube on my BLS ambulance. But if it's inside the city of Calico or inside the city of Pineville, I can get them loaded in a qualified ambulance with qualified people and get them to a qualified hospital that can put that needle decompression in. And as far as ambulance, if we have done nothing else tonight, we've actually come to the conclusion that they're wanting help over there in a faster response time. Whatever it takes to get it. If you put a truck in over there, that's great. We're going to have 2 ambulances in, because I've sunk in quite a bit of money. I went ahead and bought an extra truck because the state says you need an extra truck in case you get called out on your first call or if something breaks down.